What happens when one of the biggest names in music gets linked to one of the darkest scandals in modern history? We're about to find out. The Jeffrey Epstein case won't go away. Years after his death in that Manhattan jail cell, his name keeps surfacing, dragging new people into the spotlight. And this time, it's not a politician or a prince, it's Jay-Z. Fresh documents just dropped, unsealed files tied to Epstein's network of powerful connections. And right there, according to multiple reports, is the name Sean Carter, the billionaire rapper, the business mogul, the man who built an empire from nothing. These aren't the first Epstein files to see daylight. Since his 2019 arrest and mysterious death, courts have been slowly releasing thousands of pages connected to lawsuits filed by his victims. Each release brings a new wave of names, new uncomfortable questions, and new headlines that refuse to die. But this round hits different. We're talking about someone who's been untouchable for decades, someone who redefined hip-hop, built Rock Nation, married, and became a cultural icon. Now his name sits in documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein's world. The internet exploded. Social media went into overdrive, and within hours, rumors started flying that Jay-Z had left the country entirely. So what do these documents actually say? That's where things get complicated and where most people get it wrong. Being named in an Epstein document doesn't automatically mean you did anything criminal. It doesn't even mean you knew the guy personally. Legal files, especially from civil cases, can include names for dozens of reasons. You could be listed as a potential witness. Someone might have mentioned you in testimony. Your name could appear on a contact list or flight log without any suggestion of wrongdoing. In Jay-Z's case, reports say his name shows up in materials cataloging people within Epstein's circle. But here's what matters. No charges have been filed. No prosecutors have announced an investigation. No victim has come forward accusing him of anything. These documents come from civil litigation, not criminal cases. Civil suits are about compensation for victims, not proving guilt beyond reasonable doubt. The bar is different, the purpose is different, and the inclusion of a name carries different weight than a criminal indictment. Journalists who have actually read portions of these files point out something crucial. Many names appear with zero allegations attached. Some people attended charity events where Epstein was present. Others flew on his plane for legitimate business reasons. Some were simply part of the same social circles where Epstein operated back when he was still masquerading as a legitimate financier and philanthropist. Context matters, but context doesn't trend on Twitter. A name in a headline becomes guilt in the public mind. The details get buried under the noise. Then came the rumor that set everything on fire. Jay-Z fled the country. According to posts spreading across social media and gossip sites, the rapper packed up and left the United States right after his name hit the headlines. The timing seemed suspicious, the optics looked terrible, and the internet ran with it. But here's the problem. None of it has been verified, not by reputable news organizations, not by law enforcement, not by anyone who actually knows what they're talking about. The rumor appears to have started on anonymous accounts and celebrity gossip pages, the same platforms that have spread false information about famous people for years. Yet it gained traction fast because it fit a narrative people wanted to believe. Rich guy gets caught. Rich guy runs. Simple, dramatic, shareable. Let's be clear about something. Unless you are facing criminal charges or a court has specifically ordered you not to leave, traveling internationally is completely legal. There is no law being broken if Jay-Z decided to take a trip to Paris or London or anywhere else. More importantly, leaving the country wouldn't protect anyone. From U.S. legal obligations, extradition treaties exist. Federal authorities can reach American citizens abroad. If there was an actual investigation happening, which there's no evidence of, running would be pointless and stupid. So why did this rumor spread so fast? Because in the age of viral content, dramatic stories beat true stories every single time. Let's talk about what being named in these documents actually means from a legal standpoint, because this is where a lot of confusion happens. The files being unsealed come from a lawsuit filed by Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's most vocal accusers. She sued Ghislaine Maxwell for defamation, and that case generated thousands of pages of depositions, emails, flight logs, and communications. Courts sealed those documents to protect privacy in ongoing cases. Now they're slowly being released to the public. Each new batch reveals more names, more details, more connections. But inclusion doesn't equal guilt. Legal experts keep saying this, but it keeps getting ignored. If your name shows up on a flight log, it means you were on a plane. That's it. It doesn't prove you knew about crimes. It doesn't prove you participated in anything illegal. Same goes for being mentioned in someone else's testimony. Maybe a witness saw you at a party. Maybe someone dropped your name in a deposition. Without additional context, it means nothing. For Jay-Z specifically, the facts are these. No victim has accused him. No law enforcement agency has named him in an investigation. No charges exist. No legal action has been taken. Without those elements, the legal implications are zero. What he's facing isn't a legal problem. It's a reputation problem. And in the modern world, that might actually be worse. To understand why this matters so much, you need to understand who Jeffrey Epstein was and how he operated. Epstein wasn't just a predator, he was a connector. He built relationships with some of the most powerful people on the planet: presidents, princes, Nobel Prize winners, tech billionaires, Hollywood stars. He positioned himself as a philanthropist and financier, someone who could open doors and make introductions that changed careers and lives. That network is what made him dangerous. It's also what makes these document releases so explosive, because every name that surfaces raises the same question: what did they know, and when did they know it? Epstein's arrest in 2019 on federal sex trafficking charges should have been the end. His death 2 months later in that jail cell should have closed the book, but it didn't. Ghislaine Maxwell got arrested in 2020, convicted in 2021. Civil cases from victims are still moving through courts, and the documents keep coming. Each release feels like pulling back another layer on something rotten. The public wants answers. Victims deserve justice. And the names attached to Epstein, whether they're guilty of anything or not, face a reckoning in the court of public opinion. Not everyone connected to Epstein was complicit in his crimes. Some people genuinely didn't know. Some were used. Some were in the wrong place at the wrong time, but the association alone carries weight now, especially in a moment where accountability for the powerful feels long overdue. Here's how the game works now. A name drops. Within minutes, it's trending. Within hours, there are theories, accusations, and full narratives built on nothing but speculation. The Jay-Z situation is a perfect example. His name appears in documents. Immediately, social media explodes. Unverified rumors about him fleeing the country go viral. Posts get millions of views. Commentary channels make videos. Everyone has an opinion. Very few people have facts. This is the reality of information in the digital age. Algorithms don't care about truth. They care about engagement. They reward content that generates clicks, shares, comments, outrage. A sensational claim will always beat a boring correction. So a false rumor reaches 10 million people. The correction reaches 10,000. Even when the truth comes out, the lie sticks. It gets repeated. It gets screenshot and reposted. It becomes part of the permanent record in people's minds. This creates real damage. Careers get destroyed. Reputations built over decades crumble in days. And once the narrative takes hold, it's almost impossible to undo. Responsible journalism means verification. It means calling sources. It means waiting for official statements. It means distinguishing between what's confirmed and what's speculation. But in an environment where being first matters more than being right, those principles are disappearing. Jay-Z isn't just a rapper. He's a brand worth over $1 billion. Music ventures, fashion lines, streaming platforms, business investments, philanthropy, cultural influence that spans decades. That brand is now under attack. Not because of proven wrongdoing, but because of association. Because his name appeared in documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein. We've seen this before. Public figures linked to Epstein faced swift consequences. Partnerships ended. Endorsements vanished. Public goodwill evaporated. Some of those people were never charged with anything. Some were never even accused by victims. But the connection alone was enough. The court of public opinion doesn't require proof. It doesn't wait for trials or investigations. It operates on perception, on headlines, on viral narratives that spread faster than truth. Jay-Z built something extraordinary, from the Marcy projects in Brooklyn to the top of the entertainment industry. He became more than an artist. He became a symbol of what's possible, a voice for a generation, a businessman who redefined what success looks like. Now, all of that faces scrutiny, not because of what he did, but because of who his name got linked to. And in the modern world, that might be all it takes. So where do we go from here? Right now, there are more questions than answers. Jay-Z hasn't released a statement. His team hasn't addressed the documents or the travel rumors. Law enforcement hasn't announced any investigation. No victim has come forward with accusations. What happens next depends on several things. Will more documents get unsealed? Will credible reporting emerge about his actual whereabouts? Will he break his silence and address this directly? Silence can be strategic. Sometimes the best move is to let noise die down on its own. But silence also creates a vacuum, and in that vacuum, speculation grows wild. For everyone watching this unfold, the lesson is simple. Demand real information. Question viral narratives. Understand the difference between being named and being guilty. The Epstein case will generate headlines for years to come. Every new name will face this same gauntlet, navigating the impossible space between truth and perception in an age where the two barely exist separately anymore. This story isn't over, not by a long shot.